So if you're looking at how to manage and prevent operating systems corruption, centralized management methods like Windows updates, right? So I didn't show you this, huh? Did I show you security policies? Does this look familiar at all? So this is the Microsoft Management Console, and it's running local computer security policy. And essentially, when you have a domain, once you get to the point where you have a domain, you can do what I'm about to show you on 1,000 systems just by using the same tool, but when you do it in a domain, it applies to every system. So you can define how your computers get Windows updates, or how long the password should be, how often they have to be changed, how many passwords are remembered in the password history, how many attempts can be failed before the system is locked out. In terms of Windows Update, you can define what's called a Windows Software Update Server. It's a local server that has all of the updates. When you update off of the internet, it's a race against time. So when you go here to do your updates, you're pulling these down from Microsoft across the internet. And Microsoft has to do a whole variety of things. The last cumulative update that secured your system from the worst hacks that are hitting right now took 320 megabytes. Cumulative updates are very large, between 200 and 400 megabytes per month. One of the challenges for keeping systems secure is to deliver updates in a more efficient manner. And the simple truth is, when you have 320, let's just look at UVI proper, okay? Here's 320 megabytes, okay? And this is in megabytes. We have 2,000 clients. We have about 1,800 to 1,900 students. We have so many faculty and staff. So we're going to multiply this by 2,000. The update that rolled out from Microsoft this month required internet bandwidth on the order of 640,000 megabytes. Now that doesn't seem like much, but if 640,000 megabytes is 640 gigabytes, right? Now I'm not talking about bits. I'm talking about bytes. So let's multiply that by 8. Right, now that's a more meaningful number. If that's gigabits, we're looking at 5.12 terabits of internet data for one update for 1 month, and that's just with Microsoft. That's just Microsoft. That doesn't count all the other updates out there, right? So what that's just That's just to supply updates for the computers that are running at UVI, right? For the people that work at UVI that have a laptop or a PC, at least one of those for the students and faculty. That's a lot of bandwidth. I mean, what I'm saying is we're looking at just 2,000 people. Let's multiply that times 50 so that we have 100,000 people. All right. That's so that's in bytes or bits. The point is that you get into very large numbers, terabits and then petabits and so on. By the time you have a single update from Microsoft, the reason that most people don't update their systems is because it takes too long and they don't want to lose productivity. One of the ways to work around this is to have a local server that can deliver those on a local area network at 1,000 times the data rate. A wired connection on a local LAN is 1,000 times faster than the internet connection. Let me say that again. If you could run a Windows update that normally takes a day and a half of your productivity from you, and you could clear it in 5 minutes while you're out to lunch, 1,000 times faster. You'd be using Windows software update services. It's a role that's built into the Windows Server operating system. You can have a single computer that sits over here that has all the updates, and when a single copy is downloaded, in 5 minutes flat, 1,000 systems have those updates. You don't lose productivity for a day and a half. People are taught and they're trained, hey, when you take your lunch break, just click, yeah, update now, or set it for the lunch period, right? You can actually define when updates happen. In your local security options, you can actually specify when updates will post and how they'll post. But more importantly, you can say, I want you to get all your updates from a local server only at 1,000 times the speed. A patched system is a secure system. One of the biggest problems and challenges we have is that we have less capacity to manage our networks. We have less bandwidth, and it's because of goofy things like, oh, hey, everybody's just going to download their stuff off the internet. That makes the internet very, very slow. A couple of times a month, the internet is very, very slow. Can I get an amen from anyone in the class? Have you ever witnessed that a couple of times a month, the internet is just terribly slow?
I have, yeah.
Yes.
This is why. It takes too long to update computers. And while they're unpatched, they're vulnerable. They're not secure. So one of the things we wanted to share with you, I know there's a lot of very sophisticated ways to implement system security. The author of our textbook has all the nitty-gritty stuff on IPsec and all of that. But to me, it's the simple measures that aren't being taken care of that are killing us. When it comes to your network exploitation, when you get out into the workplace, tell people the first thing they have to do, if they want to work in a business-like fashion, there are expenses that a business incurs that you write off. And businesses incur a couple of $100 expenses for all manner of things. Don't let them talk you out of it. It's a simple conversation. And I know this isn't in any textbook, but it's an operational tenet. Insist on having a managed network with all of the extra pieces. And then you have the means to enforce policies broad scale. So when people are updating the internet, they get it in 5 minutes flat instead of a day and a half. Are there any questions before we close our class out today? I'm going to demonstrate that on Monday. So I'm going to take that same domain that I built, and I'm going to take a console that's just like this, and I'm going to tell it where to get the Windows software update service. And then I'm going to run a single command, and every machine on the screen, a dozen of them all at once, will all have the same change. And when you go in to see about updates, it'll say your organization has defined how your updates occur. See your systems administrator for more details, right? That's what I'm going to show you on Monday.